It is a Friday, November 1st, and the ETA shop is here. Or the Infiltration Operation Reward, basically doing the 400%. You got the shape stabilizers. They sit around 1.5 to 3.5% if you're using Sharon. The Python synthetic fiber sits at 32 to 38% chance. The final masterpiece nanotube also sits at 32 to 38%. The last dagger's polymer sits at 20% flat. The Thunder Cage nanotube also sits at 20% flat. Valby's enhanced cells sits from 10% to 38%. And Lepic's stabilizer blueprint sits from 32 to 38%. You should honestly be able to buy all of these, but if you can't, just buy what you need, but always get the equipment slots. I like to get the code breakers because you need it for the energy activator as well as the catalysts. So for the exchange supplies, this is the stuff that you need to sell back to the shop. Once again, the storage slots are always priority, always get them. And the precision code breaker, I always like it. Once again, the stabilizer sits from 1.5 to 3.5% with Sharon. The Kingsguard Lance blueprint sits from 6% to 32%. The Catalyst blueprint sits at 20%, but you should always get it because you'll always need them for either weapons or for the characters. The Albion synthetic fiber sits at 15 to 38%. Clairvoyance nanotube sits at 6 to 32%. And the Greg's Reverse Fate sits at 15 to 38%. And again, if you do play enough, you should be able to buy the whole shop, but I would say buy the stuff that you need at most. The slots are the most important ones. And then from there, just buy the guns that you want. Remember, you only need 5 maximum of anything to be able to max out a whole gun. And speaking of that, selling the blueprints. If you already have Haley, you can just press C and it will automatically select the whole stack. And then just go through the weapons. If you have more than 5 in any of the gun parts, you can get rid of. So you want a total of 5 maximum, unless you know that you already completed the gun. So let's see, I think HX I already have. Ultimate Bunny, I do have for sure, I know that. Lepic, let's get rid of a couple. Same thing with Kyle. Yeah, there we go. There's 6 there, so we can get rid of one of them, so we leave at 5. And you get it. Same thing. Descendants, you only need 1. Here we had 10, so we can get rid of 5. And like, that's how you're gonna go. This is the safe approach. And you can do your final double checks there, but if you're good, just sell it. And then let's go and buy our stuff. Again, you don't need everything because I already know I have a bunch of these owned as well as there. There's 5, so I don't need to buy that. That one I will get. But everything else I'm going to get. Like the dyes, I always like the dyes. I don't do it as often, but it's basically free, so no point in spending the money. Stabilizer, I'm gonna grab because I have the points for it, but everything else I don't need. In the infiltration, I'm just gonna grab the slots, and honestly I might just get everything except the gun parts that I already am maxed out at because it's pretty easily farmable. I don't have that. See, I got 5 here, so there's no point in bothering. I don't have that. I have Thunder Cage already built, so I don't need that. Valby, I already have. Lepic, I also already have. And then we'll just grab all the dyes. And this is a really quick tip. If you do need the exchange supply points, because this one is going to be a little bit harder to get, the infiltration is going to be a little bit easier. What you can do is go back to the infiltration and say, I already have the final masterpiece, right? I can just purchase that. Go into the sell blueprints, then find wherever it is. Bam, there it is. It's not a good transfer rate because I spent 15, but I'll be able to get 3 back. That's if you need to make the numbers, because you're not going to get as many stuff, but that is an option.